girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
There it is. All right. Good morning. Welcome. Happy Monday. This thing on? Clearly it wasn't. Forgot to press a button. Mic test. Morning, guys. Welcome back. How we doing? Good morning, good morning. Margin, Bruce, Pat, Golf, Bruce again, Pat again. Going through the chat. Golf again, Bruce again. Barefoot Sailing Adventures, DP, Son, David, Chef, morning Chef. CJ, good morning. Jacob, Robert. Oh, the whole thing just went crazy. Good morning, everyone. Kavi, Gibson. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. So tough day for me. Just being honest, it's gonna be a tough day. I was in Kava, and this is the first time I think I've ever been a part of an after hours event that just sort of smacks me. So this is going to hurt a little bit today. There were some reasons why I liked the long yesterday on Kava. We were holding above the previous day highs, the Friday highs, which I really liked. You know, typically this is what I look for, right? You have those, you got those Friday highs right there. Let me get my Demo Pro on. Hold on. Before I talk about this. And yeah, it sucks to talk about, but I think I owe it to you. So it's definitely going to be a loss for me today. I probably don't even know if I'm going to try to get myself out of this loss. Might be just a chill day and just accept the L. So I'll show you what I was looking at. So I was watching this 125 level, and we were holding above the Friday highs, right? You can see right here. We had those Friday highs, which were, this area right here, 125, these Friday highs where we rejected. And all day yesterday, we were holding. Even on this little drop, another hold, right? So I was saying, hey, we got a nice little hold over Friday's highs. We're turning that into a nice support all day, which I really liked, right? And so I said, hey, I'm going to try to do a little next week swing trade on these. Look to see if this thing wants to continue over those Friday highs and, continue to ride this thing higher. And then news broke. Sucks, man. It does. It sucks. I mean, it's something I couldn't have predicted, when news comes out after hours that insiders are selling, a 10% stake of the company. Big part of, I guess, a big company that owns about 10% is selling its stake. Yeah, that's not going to be something that allows the technicals to align. So, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So, yeah, they're going to be, I don't even know, it's probably going to be like an $8,000 loss, something around there. So it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a backbreaker, but it definitely sucks. You don't love to see this. This is definitely a little bit of a kick in the face. So just wanted to share it with you guys. Wanted to be honest with you. Wanted to be transparent, be open. This is going to be a tough one today. So, yeah. But let's move on from that. We'll talk about some other stuff, some other good things that happened yesterday, some other nice setups that occurred once again on the market. The ES, again, that 5660 rejection. Really clean. We'll go over those ES levels, those NASDAQ levels, individual equities, and hopefully set you up for a good day. But yeah, just not waking up feeling that excited, man. That's a discourager. So just wanted to let you know. I'll talk about the trade. I'll talk about some levels to be watching on Kava today as well, to see whether that selling continues or if there is an opportunity to take advantage of the drop. We'll have to see what happens today. So let's start with the economic calendar today. We'll go to that first. We'll get into the earnings calendar, and then we'll get into the levels, as we always do. So today is Tuesday. We have some 9 o'clock HPI, housing price index. So I don't really think that's going to be anything major. I don't think that's anything monstrous there. So be aware of that, 9 o'clock, but that's before open. So we'll see what it looks like before open. 10 o'clock consumer confidence. So I probably will definitely will not trade the first 30 minutes today after, being in this Kava trade and knowing that the market's pretty sideways, pretty choppy, and we have consumer confidence at 10. There is a negative % chance that I trade the first 30 today. So definitely going to be, disciplined in that, and allow the market to sort of, move around for the first 30 and see what that consumer confidence does. So that's something I'll be watching. And that's really it for today. Tomorrow, just some talking heads, crude oil inventories, more talking heads, nothing really there. Thursday, GDP, unemployment claims, right? Let's be aware of that. GDP, unemployment claims on that Thursday. And of course, Wednesday is the Nvidia earnings. That's a very ugly Nvidia, but Nvidia earnings after hours tomorrow. Friday, price index, personal income, personal spending, consumer sentiment, 10 o'clock, and that's that. So really the heavy hitter for the rest of the week is that GDP number on Thursday. Be aware of it. All right. Earnings calendar. Let's go to that real quick. Just quick reminder, quick refresh on the earnings calendar for you guys. Nothing much today. Tomorrow, right, NVIDIA earnings, CrowdStrike, Salesforce. Be aware of that. Affirm as well. I know some of you guys have been watching that. Margin, Affirm for you. Abercrombie & Fitch, that's been a big runner. See what that does. Dell, interesting. Lulu, Alta, MRVL. So some interesting names there as well. But the big boy is, of course, that Nvidia earnings, and it will affect the other semiconductor stocks. First thing I want to talk about is the semiconductor reaction yesterday. It was a weak day for semiconductors. That is for sure. So I'm going to zoom in on this SMH. And it was definitely a weak day for the semis. We definitely saw that. It does seem like the semiconductors are trying to hold this little 240. It looks like it's around 241 and this little 100 SMA down here. That is something I am watching. I keep on seeing... Why is my TOS not working? I keep seeing these wicks popping up on the SMH around this 100 SMA. So if I sort of dive down into this 30-minute, we can see this 241, this yesterday low, right? We had that Thursday low. We had that yesterday low. We have this 100 SMA right here. This looks like it's going to be a big spot for the semiconductors in this zone. So something I would be watching to see what the SMH does at that level. Now, the clear rejections continue to come in around this right here, around this 247, and then up here at this 50 SMA, like 242. All right, so we're very clearly seeing the SMH have a lot of struggle up here. 252, right? These highs right here, 247, failing yesterday. So some pressure on that semiconductor sector, and that is why you saw a lot of those semis break down yesterday. Nvidia, AMD, SMCI, MU, Qualcomm, pretty much all of them. Weakness before Nvidia earnings. So just wanted to point that out real quick. But let's jump into the NASDAQ futures. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. So yesterday, you pretty much just had that morning drop out the open. That is because of the ES rejection. It's the same exact rejection 3 days in a row now, which is just sort of frustrating not to be a part of. So that's still, again, that's my fault. You can see very clear, right? Again on Friday and again yesterday, right? Another drop to the downside, exact same level. So that ES 5660, 65 that we've been talking about, absolutely creating a nice downside fade opportunity almost every day the last 3 days. Really, really clean. All right, so that downside on the ES, definitely creating that downside on the NASDAQ, right? And the NASDAQ dropped under our 680 and our Tuesday low 743 zone. It's pretty much just flushed right through it, right into our 520 demand. And we basically just said, day's over, we're chopping the rest of the day, right? It was pretty much the morning drive to the downside, and the rest of the day was a shit show, to be, for a lack of a better word. So that was really it on the NASDAQ. It was that morning drive because of that ES rejection, and then we just sat above this 520 level. So today is pretty much all about, in my eyes, this 520 level, right? Do we maintain these lows that have been creating, right? Or do we fail below it, right? Do we fail below it? We can see that these lows have held. This 520, 500 zone has been a hold level. Do we finally see a fail below this level today? 19,520. If we do, I would anticipate a pretty aggressive drop to 19,400. And if we're under 19,400, I would expect more selling, probably towards this 100 SMA, around this 19,160. So that's the range I would be watching. This is a very sort of not very exciting, very not exciting range today, right? You can see the 19,520. You can also see the very possible rejections here at the 19,680 and the 50 SMA. So this is possibly the range that you sit in today if the markets want to remain pretty balanced. That is very possibly the range you look for. So I would look for fades of the 50 SMA and that 19,680. I would watch the holds of 19,520. If you break under 520, then I would look for the fade into 400 and possibly lower. So watch that break and hold below 520. If we do see that today, that could definitely drive more weakness. So watch out for that 19,520 breakdown. If you do get some kind of a pop this morning, I would look for that fade potential at that 680 and that 50 SMA. I would also look for the fade potential at that Tuesday low around that 745, 743 area. So definitely not interested in longing back into this 50 SMA. Very cautious into this 743 level. Really cautious to long back into, sort of some of these lows that have created up here, especially these double top highs, right? Right here. It's not, I don't like how the NASDAQ has fallen back below that double top high, right? That double top high can simply become the new high on the right side of this chart, right? It could be sort of highs here and new highs here, right? And this was sort of just a failure up here. So this is potentially, and I saw one of you guys say it, a little head and shoulder, right? So this could be the forming of the right shoulder here if we stay under this 680 level, right? If we stay under this 680 level, this could be some heaviness, right, under that 50 SMA. So I would be very careful there at that 680. I would look for those fades there. That could be a very nice spot today. Keep an eye on that 19,680 50 SMA. Okay. QQQ. If we go to this, obviously we had that daily level at the 474, right? That was once again the level that sort of maintained yesterday. It really battled there. It was a battle, right? That 474 battled all afternoon. And eventually it did hold above it. But today we're going to have to see how it reacts, because right now you can see it held yesterday, had some drama below it, ultimately held. But look at today, right? We're coming right back into that level. That's going to be a big watch today. Do we hold over that 474, or do we fail this today? And if we do, that could definitely lead to some further downside. Yesterday, we basically just dropped off that morning, dropped in the morning under that 478.50, under that 476.50, and we basically just lived below that and lived above this for the rest of the day, right? Pretty much just a channel for the entire afternoon. So today is all about 474 lows. It's all about this previous high from yesterday, 476.50, right? That is very clear, right? Right there and right here, you can see the range that is being created. So I would probably wait for this range to break. If we can get a nice clean break under 74, look for the downside into 471.50. If we can get a clear break over this 476.50, then I would look for that push back into that 478.50. But right now, you can very clearly see this channel. This is those lows from those lows from Friday that are rejecting right there very clearly. So 476.50 rejections, 474 lows. That is the levels to be watching on the QQQ. ES, same exact rejection spot, just textbook, 5660, 5665. A little trapped buyer action up there yesterday, really clean, creating that downside move. Should have been, this is where I need to be better. I should have been all over this. I needed to be all over this. This was a very clear failure of our supply zone again, and really nice downside trade. And that was really trade of the day, right? So that was really trade of the day. That was the setup of the day, and then you just walk away and you don't get involved in the late day action, right? So really nice morning fade off that 5660, 65, right? Very nice. And pretty much the rest of the day, you lived under that 45 level that we had and lived above the 30-25 level we had, right? So you can see now a very clear channel that has been created. We now have the rejections at the 56.45 right here, and we have the support at the 56.25, right? So pretty much the same channel from some of the levels we had yesterday is where we're living now. So I would watch today how we trade within here, right? If you have 56.45 rejections, 56.25 demand holds, right? This would be the channel that I would be watching. If we get above and reclaim above 45, you probably can trade back into 60, which could be another nice fade, right? Could set up a nice fade. And if we get under 25, I would assume we drive down into the 56.10, which is that Friday low. And it's also the low from last Wednesday, okay? So I'll zoom out here for a second. You can see these levels at work. Right here, 56.45. 56.25. Under that, you have these lows right here. You have the lows from Friday. You have the lows from Wednesday. You have the lows from Tuesday at 56.15, 56.10. That is possibly where that ES may want to come down to today, right? Possibly a little retest rejection for another move down into that 56.10, 56.15 that's something I would be watching today. Okay? SPY, same thing. We got that 560 hold. All right, that 560 level is trying to hold on. You guys can see right here, 560, 560, right? Some 560 levels. That was that 560 rejection on Thursday. So that is definitely your area to watch today. What happens at that 560? If we have a clean break below that, then I would assume we trade back into that same Friday low right here, that 558. That's that Wednesday low, that Tuesday low, that Friday low. That's 558. So if we see failures under 560 today, I would trade that into 558. And if we see holds of 560, possibly pushing back into that 562, which could be another rejection play, I'd watch that. Over 562, you trade back into that 563.50, which is that same failure spot that came in yesterday. Okay? Fail, fail, and fail. Very nice. So today, here's your channel. It's about a 2-point channel on the SPY. Look for a break outside of it. Under 60 into 558, right? Or over 62 into that high again at 63.50. Or, right, you trade the channel, right? You long the 60 into the 62, you short the 62 into the 60, and you pretty much play that game that was going on all day yesterday. Okay? IWM, yeah, IWM breaking 220. If the IWM breaks under 220, then we trade back into that 218 level, in my opinion. Let me go ahead and zoom out here. 1 second. So right here, that 220 level, if we break under that and we fail below that, I would expect us to trade back into the 218. If I go to the 15-minute, right here, 220, 220, 220. You can see right now it's breaking. I would expect us to potentially trade back into that 218 right here. Okay? So under 220, possibly 218. I would want to see the IWM hold over 220 for a chance of more upside. Dow Jones, Mike Jones, yeah, it's got to. I think you're going to get your pullback on the Dow Jones. I would say right here. This would be your pullback level to watch on Dow Jones, 41,100, 41,100. That would be where you want that pullback to, right here, 41,100 on the Dow. All right, that's the futures. We'll go over them again. Before we end the live stream. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's start going over some stocks. So number 1 is Tesla. Tesla, once again, failing down into that 210 area. And that is an interesting level for me. I am watching how this Tesla holds this 210 right here. So you can see previous highs, 210 support, 210 support, and 210 support. Is there another long opportunity off this 210? That's definitely something I'm watching. Yeah, let's see if that 210 holds. You guys can see right there, 210, 210, 210. The only problem with that 210 is there is still some rejections above to be careful of, right? You still got your 216, and you definitely still have your 219. So you got your 210 in the 20 SMA down here, holding Tesla higher, as it did here, and as it is right now. But if that market stays weak today, then I expect Tesla to probably not do this and probably fail over and move down over. If we do see that break under 210, then I would expect Tesla to move relatively quickly right into that 200 SMA and that 203 level. All right there, 200 SMA, 203. If we do see a fail under 210 today, that would be where I think Tesla moves down to relatively quickly. So I would definitely be eyes on that today. If we do hold this 210, then I would expect maybe some chop here today. Just be aware of that 216 above and that 219. Okay. I think Nvidia has found its general channel before earnings, unless it wants a little bit more drop into that 50 SMA. But I think Nvidia probably finds a channel right around this 125 to this 130. That looks to be where Nvidia has been sort of trading within for the last week and a half, right? You can just see Nvidia rejecting this 130, 131, and then holding this 124, 125. You can see sort of this channel that's been created. If Nvidia does break under that 125 today, and the market does start to show a pretty aggressive slide, then I would say Nvidia slides back to this 120.50 and this 50 SMA. So I would watch this low, this 125 low. I would watch to see how that reacts today. Right now, it looks like it's going to get tested and looks pretty damn weak in the pre-market. If I go into this 15-minute chart, there was like a little wick off this 123 here. So you could keep a little level there at that 123 just so you're aware of it. But I would expect a clean flush under 125 to react. If the market is if it's actually showing a lot of weakness on the market here, I would expect a clean flush under 125 to trade back into this 50 SMA around that 120.50. So you could have like target 1 here at 123 and maybe target 2 at 120.50. That's something I would look for. So if Nvidia fails under 125 and holds below it, you could target that 123 and that 120.5. That's something I would watch today. If you see that defend at 125 today and you see Nvidia keep sort of holding this area, then you're probably just going to trade within that channel until earnings. Okay? AMD, another big failure up here around that 200 SMA. You can see yesterday we popped and just absolutely failed that 200 and 100 SMA. If AMD stays under 152 today, this could be a really nice short side watch. This is a very clear sort of previous low into potentially new highs, right? So I would definitely watch this 152 level. If AMD fails under this 152, I would look for that downside move into that 148. Be careful if 148 holds. That's that hold there from that Monday. That's probably where AMD holds on. But I would say you could look to fade that 152 level into 148. Okay? That's something I would be watching. Broadcom sort of broke down yesterday. This probably could get weaker. I actually would expect it to get weaker. Broadcom had a failed sort of setup, man. Had a really nice hold going on here around the 162, 164, and yesterday it broke down. So you are now looking at a hold below 162. If Broadcom stays under 162, I would expect this to be a fading move, right? Back into that 154. So that's something I would be watching. You guys can see right here, 162, 162. You are failing it. You are moving lower. I would expect Broadcom to stay weak under 162. It might need to come back down to that 20 SMA at 154. Something I would be watching there on Broadcom. Let's go to ARM. ARM had a failed breakout yesterday as well. You had these highs on ARM at 133. On Friday, we had a push above it. Yesterday, we failed right back below it. If ARM, it looks to me like it's like this 127, 128, 127.50. It's not a perfect level here, but there's definitely some lows around this 127.50. You can see right here, and yesterday right there. I would say if ARM breaks under yesterday's lows, you're trading back down to this 123.50 and that daily 20 SMA. So I would just watch yesterday's lows on ARM if you are trading it. If you break under that previous day low here and you see sort of rejections underneath it, that could be a very nice short to be watching out for today. Okay? Let's go to SMCI. SMCI, big breakdown yesterday. Failed under the 600 and, sort of just looks like continuation of weakness here. Under 600, big breakdown came in. That was the level that was holding, and I was sort of interested in that long, right? Seeing if we could maintain that 600, maintain that 20 SMA, and push higher. But clearly yesterday, the semiconductor sector just took a major hit, and we broke under that 20, we broke under that 600, and that was pretty much it. Just a flush underneath that level, and really moving back down to that 550 zone. 550, 550, 250, these previous lows right here. That's something I would watch. Below that, you're probably trading down to 530 here on SMCI. If you get any kind of pop back into 600, then I would look for that rejection play. Yeah, I want to go over Netflix. That's a very interesting setup, but with the market weak the way it is, I'm not really that interested because I think this could just be sort of a fake out. But Netflix right now is really strong, holding 680, holding 685. You can see this demand keeps stepping up, and it looks like you're possibly seeing, right, that sort of pop to the upside and that hold at 685, that 680 level, right? Hold. very possible to see that Netflix sort of continue higher off that 685, 680 demand hold and that sort of flag breakout. But market action keeps me pretty tough, right? Keeps me sort of questionable about whether Netflix can do that. So just make sure you're in tune with that market. You know, Netflix is not going to do this breakout move if the market is, you know, sort of, if the ES is stuck under that 60, if the ES is stuck under these lows today, or if the ES is just sort of doing a whole lot of nothing today. I'd be sort of cautious on hoping that Netflix really gets a move behind it, right? That would be something I'd be a little bit cautious of. Microsoft, I want to talk about this Microsoft 200 SMA that's coming in. So this is an interesting spot for Microsoft, something I will be watching. This 410 and this 200 SMA, sort of an interesting spot there, right? You have this previous high and you have this 200 SMA. I'd be shocked to see Microsoft give up that 200 SMA, right? That would really be a weak move for Microsoft. So Microsoft at the 200 SMA, for me, very rarely doesn't come with some type of opportunity. That's a major stock at a major SMA. So definitely going to watch what happens here on Microsoft around this 410. Just sort of keep an eye on it. Nothing that I'm going to trade today. You know, nothing that I'm really that interested with the market action. But I want to make sure I'm aware of what Microsoft does at this 200 SMA around 410. Meta, really clean rejections under 523 right now. This might be probably the trade that I'm most interested in today. This is probably my number one setup for downside. If we do see that market downside, this looks just pretty much textbook clear. 523, and look at that rejection at 523, right? Really, really clear. 523, 523, 523, 523. This looks very clean. And if we see those heavy rejections come in at 523, I think you got some space to fade this, right? Back probably to this 510, right? This could be a really nice fade back to 510. This could be a very aggressive a trade to watch out for today. I really like how Meta is failing below those previous lows. All right, look at this. On the 15-minute chart, a very clean previous low, and look at how much that is failing here. That is a very nice little setup there. I would be watching this for sure. So 523. If we can get that weakness on the market today, I like this as a fade spot. So keeping that on watch today, that's probably my number one watch for a fade back into that 510 spot. All right. Apple, not a whole lot, man. Apple has sat sideways all of the last 2 weeks, just sitting. So that's pretty annoying. I mean, it's not annoying, but you can't really trade it unless you're just going to trade that channel. Watch that 228, 224. That's pretty nice. Yeah, Team Costco, man. Costco was a Costco day yesterday, and that was awesome. Costco, right off our 874, absolutely perfection. Right here, we were talking about that 874. It was a Costco day. Team Cost. That was sick. Right? Previous high, into lows, 874. You finally got your move off that level. Beautiful stuff. Really nice. Right off that 874. Today, I would watch this right here. If you hold above this 890, there's more to come. Right? Right here, 890. That previous high, if you hold above that, there's more to come here. Right? Look at this 4 hour. If you hold over that 890, hold over this high right here, I would expect, probably that 912 to come in if we do continue to see that strength on Costco. So keep that 890 on watch today on Costco. Very nice. Brings me to Target, because this is a trade I'm still in. I still like this Target, sort of hold above this double top high post earnings, right? We have this high, we have this high, we have this Target sort of pullback and maintain above 156. I do like the sector strength, and I like how Target is still maintaining above that double top high. So I'm sort of staying long Target, looking for that curl back higher, keeping an eye on that. I want to show you PANW. This is sort of a interesting watch, not ready yet, but something I will be monitoring. Previous major highs at 345 right here as well. We had our earnings pop. We had our consolidation back lower, and we're right back at that 345. What I'd like to see over the next week, week and a half, is PANW sort of curling off this 345, right? This is something I'm really interested in watching. You can see 345, 345. You had your break above it. You've had your curl back down. And I want to see what happens at this 345 level on PANW. Definitely a watch for me for some 345 demand holds over the next few weeks. I don't think this is a short-term trade. This is definitely something that would develop over a little bit of a longer period, in my opinion. What else? Yeah, CrowdStrike earnings could affect it a little bit, right? Very true. 263 CrowdStrike coming back down. Yeah, something. I guess that's true. Something to be careful of there. I say we wait. I say what you do is you wait for CrowdStrike earnings, and then you see what PANW does there, and then you'll know, right? To see what you're looking for. What's TSM been up to? TSM's been quiet. TSM's been really quiet, like really quiet. So 173, it's still just sitting right in this channel. Yeah, really quiet TSM. Really not too interested in that action. Coinbase rejected 208 yesterday. It was perfect on the intraday. Look at this. Look at those 208 rejections intraday yesterday. That's our exact 208 level. 208, yesterday 208. So coin is right back inside this channel. 208, it needs to get out of 208 to really get a move. If it's under 208, it's just going to get stuck between this channel. Really don't love it. Went over Microsoft already. Went over Kava already. Yeah, we can take a look at Lilly. Lilly, oof, what a hold at 920 there. Wow. Yeah, little hold to that 920 today. Damn. So, yeah, I would say Lilly over 920 is still very strong. 920, 920, 918, 920. Look at that hold right there again. That's a very strong hold right there. So I would say Lilly it's a buy and hold, man. Lilly is just that beast of a stock. If you want to trade it, I would probably want to be long near that 918, 920. MU's just been fading after the 106 fail. We've been failing every level on MU. Look at this thing. Look how it just failing below, right? We had that 111. We had that 106, 111. We had this 102. It's pretty much just stair-stepped lower, right? Look at this 102 right here. Yesterday you failed it. Nice downside. Really no support here on MU until this 94 for me. So I would just look for these pops and fades, right? Look for this 102 to reject. Look for this 106 to reject. Look for that 111 to reject on those pops and fades. But yeah, very nice sort of downside stair-stepping move here, right? You can see right here we had those previous lows into rejections. We had these highs into rejections again. Very nice. We already went over Kava, but I'll do it again. Kava, already talked about, the tough morning that it's going to be for me on Kava. Obviously, talked a little bit about early morning about why I took this long. I guess I'll go over it again because probably some late people are showing up here. So yesterday, took a long on Kava, did it as a swing trade, and I'll show you why I did. Had some highs here around that 125 on Friday. You can see right here, that 125 level, very clear highs that continued to reject on Kava, right? And pretty much all day yesterday, Kava was holding above that level, right? So you had your morning drive to the upside, had very strong outperformance versus the market, right? Saw a lot of holds coming in above Friday's highs. Every push to the downside into 125, bid up, right? Continue to bid up off that 125 level, which was the exact highs of Friday. And so that is everything I look for to long positions, right? If we're going to hold above the previous day highs and we're going to continue to battle above it, then I really like that for, that continuation move. However, there's nothing I can really do about a after hours, an after hours, selling of shares by a company that owns 10%, right, of the stake. 10% of the stake sold in the after hours, and yeah, that's really it, all right? That's really it. I mean, I'm just got smacked because of it. This has nothing to do with anything, right? I know we're going to come up with all these different reasons why I shouldn't have longed this. This has everything to do with a news event that came in the after hours. So the CEO and insiders announced a stock sale. That is why it's down. It is not down because of something that you have found, that makes it overvalued or this or that. It is simply because this came out in the after hours, and that is just unfortunate. There's nothing I can really do about that, right? In every other situation, if I saw a stock create a high on a Friday, right, and the next day it was holding above that high, right, that is the strategy that I have used for 5 years now to make probably close to $500,000 trading, right? And you guys have seen my year-to-date P&L. I have shared that with you, and that is the exact thing I look for to long stocks, right? You have a Friday high, the next day, or let's say it's a Monday high, the next day you hold above it, right, and you maintain above it. That is always a long for me, and that will continue to be a long for me because it has worked for me for 5 years and has been proven by me sharing with you guys my performance. But this does not have this does not protect me from macroeconomic events that cause downside, right? That's the harsh truth, right? This type of technical setup, which is exactly what it did here, does not protect me from macroeconomic, macro company-related data that is released in the after hours. It just simply does not. So that is the risk you take when you swing trade, and there it is. I got caught, right? I got caught in it. So that's going to be my day. That's the unfortunate truth of my day there, guys. Is that is what happened to me overnight. I like the setup, but clearly it is it's not happening. So today I would watch this 112, right? I would watch this 112 right here, right here. I would keep an eye on that 112. Keep an eye on that spot, right? You can see that previous high right here. That could be where Kava tries to hold on, right? You got to watch that 117.20. Watch this 120 area. Could sort of be rejections to keep an eye out for. And then keep an eye on that right here, that 112, okay? Keep an eye on that 112. All right. I think that's about it. Take a quick peek at that NASDAQ. NASDAQ still just sitting in between this channel, 19,680, 19,520. You're basically just stuck here. Definitely looks like a little bit of weakness here to start the day. If you do break under that 500, that 520 today, I would definitely look to see if that fade continues. QQQ, all about that 474 today. Keep an eye out on that. ES, 56.25, yesterday's lows. Watch for that drop into the 56.10 zone. SPY, yeah, SPY's under 560. You might have to bring this down a little bit to include some of these yesterday lows. What is this, like 559? So this hits a little bit sloppy here, right? It gets a little bit sloppy here, right? I like the 560 as a level, but you can see it gets sloppy under 560. There's more than just 560 because yesterday, if we look at that intraday, let me take a look at that intraday. Right, and this is why it's been sort of tough to get that continuation and really trust it. I like a nice clean 560 break and rejection for downside, and then, over the last few days, you've been seeing sort of this, quick pop back above it, which has been sort of difficult. But I'm just going to sort of watch that 560 today and see if there's really something clean there. That's something I will watch today. CMG, yeah, what's CMG been up to? I'm actually interested. Yeah, CMG 55 looks to be that spot on Chipotle. Chipotle 55 is where I think you got to get above. right here. You can see yesterday again rejecting. So I'd watch that 55 on Chipotle. That's your big watch there. Palantir, fading a little bit. I would want to see that thing hold over 30. I'd want to see that thing hold over this 29.80-30 spot. That could be that's the level I'd want to see maintain. After it broke that 31.50, it really started to lose it. I'd like to see a nice retest of that previous high right here. See this? That $29.80, $30 level. That's really where I'd like to see it maintain, possibly where that daily 20 SMA is. Something I would watch there. But if that IWM starts to break down, which it is right now, right, you might see a little bit of weakness there on Palantir, that IWM, that small cap sector. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Yeah, tough day, but we have to continue to fight, man. That's what it's all about. You have some hot streaks in trading. You have some sort of shitty streaks, but you got to keep showing up. If you're not showing up, you're not here for the next good opportunity. That's my day, right? My day is pretty much show up, pay attention to what's going on, battle out of the loss, and, take it on the chin and move forward. So that's my day. Just realistic trading, realistic experiences. Probably don't hear this from a lot of people online, but I am here to share everything, man. So one of those days for me. Let's keep an eye on these levels on the futures, on the ES. Let's see if we can get that break under 474 on the Qs. That would really be my favorite thing to look for today. And if we do, I am very much going to be probably just focused on that meta short that we talked about, under that 523. All right? All right, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done.